not alone. This is the Resistance.
What's up, everyone? This is the Tin Man with the Resistance. If you're watching this, you are the Resistance. Well, as you can see, there's a video posted on my Facebook by my buddy Kingkull. He and I just did an interview, but he wanted to keep it short, sweet, and to the point, and didn't want to let the interview run on too long. But he had a few more questions for me, so I'm going to go ahead and take the liberty now and answer those questions because they are very relevant questions. So here we go. We left off with talking about the Masons and the placing of the temples and whatnot. He goes, what goes on inside the temples and why is it such a big secret? Well, nothing really goes on in the temples that people don't already know about. You know, most people know they do the baptisms for the dead and they do the marriage sealings where, unlike traditional marriage where it's till death do you part, it's for time and eternity, or in layman's terms, forever. And it's not so much that it's secret as much as it is sacred. It's kind of like what goes on in a married couple's bedroom, you know. They don't advertise what's going on in the bedroom. You know what's going on in the bedroom, but they don't broadcast it to the world, and they don't invite other people to come and watch. That's kind of how it is, you know. It's just for those people. How do you feel about, his next question is, how do you feel about the secrecy involved in that, you know, being that there's the New World Order is so secretive? How do I feel about that? Well, the New World Order and their secrets, you know, is very different from the Mormons having their privacy in the temples. One, the New World Order and what they're doing behind closed doors that they don't want anybody to know about is criminal in many respects and affects people outside of where they're meeting. You know, so if they're having a secret meeting, the contents of those meetings is in regards to things that affect the outside world. For instance, the Northwoods document. Had that all happened, that would have affected the world, you know. Or Operation Star Wars or Fast and Furious, you know, all hatched behind closed doors and was secret, but affected everybody. Whereas what goes on in a Mormon temple is just between those who are presently in the temple taking part in whatever ritual. And his next question is, do they do human sacrifice or anything like has been depicted in the Bohemian Grove or anything like that? No, they do not do human sacrifices. There is 3 ceremonies that take place in the temple: baptism for the dead, marriage sealings, and temple endowments. And the temple endowment is just kind of a commitment thing, you know, a promising commitment like you would do in baptism. It's just an additional commitment ceremony. That's all it is. And next question, are they a cult? Well, by definition, any religion can be considered a cult, you know. You know, just looking at the definition of cult, you know, it's a religious system centered around the worship of a person or a deity or whatever. But where it differs from the traditional cult sense, cults are very secretive and isolating with their members. They don't want people knowing exactly what they believe. You know, the cults, and that's what I'm talking about. Cults don't really want people knowing what they believe, and they don't want their members interacting with the general public. You know, it's a very big isolation thing. Whereas with the Mormon faith, LDS are very active in the community. They do public missionary work within the community, and they openly advertise what they believe. So that differs very much from the traditional cult sense. Getting back to the Freemasons, do they still have affiliations with the Masons? Yes and no. it's commonly said, you know, that if somebody wants to join the church, that they should start out in the Freemasons. You know, it's been said a few times, and even authorities, general authorities in the past within the church have been members of the Freemasons. I don't know if they are currently Freemasons. Me personally, I'm not a Freemason, and I personally don't know anybody who is a member of the Freemasons that is a member of the church. So that's kind of an up in the air question, and if I get a more solid, definitive answer on that one, I'll give it later. Does the church have anything to do with the New World Order agenda? No, not anything beyond the Freemasons. The church is very big on keeping out of politics. Their whole articles of faith, they believe in being subject to kings, governments, magistrates, whatever, you know, operating within the laws of whatever country they're in. But as far as taking part in political standings or anything of that nature, they make it a point of trying to stay extremely neutral, except for in instances of examples of the California Prop 8 from a few years ago. That's like one of the few times that they actually take a stand on something. You know, some people have said that the church was pushing for Mitt Romney to be elected, you know, some people in the church probably were, but as far as the official standpoint of the church, they are neither Republican or Democrat, and don't take any political side or side with any political parties or policies, you know, with the exception of the Prop 8 thing. But that's, as far as that goes, you know, like I said, for the most part, they try to stay relatively neutral. That's all the questions he had. I hope that kind of fills everything out. You know, I kind of knocked this out in the time frame that it took me to answer 2 questions on his interview. But, you know, if anybody else has any questions or concerns or whatnot, feel free to leave it in the comment description, and I'll happily answer any questions or address any issues you might have. You know, and like I said during my interview with King Kull, I keep my political activism stuff separate from my religious beliefs. I don't believe in intermingling the two, and basically what I'm trying to say is I don't let my faith cloud my judgment or my reality or my actions. I'm a free thinker. I am not a sheeple. I am not a follower by any means, and I'll do and think for myself. And anybody who doesn't like the fact that I am a free thinker and think for myself and express myself freely can fuck off. But that's all I got for today. Tune in later and see what else I come up with. In the meantime, if you're watching this, you are the resistance.